Welcome to Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast, the podcast that empowers you to turn your dreams into reality using the law of attraction. I'm your host, Papi DiNuzzo, and together we'll dive into the mindset, strategies, and energy shifts you need to create the life you've always envisioned. Whether it's health, wealth, happiness, love, relationships, or spirituality, inspired by my transformative book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, each episode brings you practical tools, inspiring stories, and bold insights to unlock your limitless potential. Get ready to manifest your greatness, and let's dive in.
Give a fish, teach to fish, delivering hope. A Paying It Forward self-improvement and personal development charitable community outreach initiative. Founded, supported, and funded by DiNuzzo Private Wealth, Inc. Thank you for joining us today. Papi has had several very successful events over the past few weeks, and he's been a guest even on several podcasts, spreading his message of positivity. And, that's what's so great about technology, because no matter where you are in the world, Papi's able to speak to your group or organization. So if you're looking for an inspirational speaker, please book Papi to speak to your organization or book him to speak for free to your nonprofit group that would love to hear his message of hope, inspiration, abundance, and peace of mind. Papi's also pleased to announce that he has expanded into social media. Specifically, Papi Mindset Coach can be found on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, and Facebook. So please like, subscribe, and share Papi Mindset Coach links so that you can assist him in spreading his important message of hope and inspiration with our fellow brothers and sisters in need all around the world. Let's go to Papi now to set the table. Good morning, Papi. Namaste. How are you?
Mikey, namaste. The spirit in me greets the spirit in you and all of our fellow brothers and sisters within the sound of my voice today. The spirit in me greets the spirit in you. Yeah, Mikey, just sort of going in order. You hit a lot of key points there. So thank you for getting us off to a great start. You and Suzanne putting together such a great show. The social media, we just hit number 5,000 of subscribers on our combined social media. And we started less than 90 days ago. So I'm very grateful, very thankful, very appreciative, very grateful for us getting off to such a good start and the really wonderful engagement we've had with our community, with our tribe of folks who are of similar mindset and helping us to spread this, the ambassadors who are helping us with this as well. So with us hitting 5,000 subscribers already in less than 90 days, I am very grateful beyond words. I'd just like to remind, before we get started, Mikey, remind our listeners that anytime I mention universal intelligence, universal subconscious mind, universal light, source power, source energy, I'm always coming to you from the absolute highest point of reference of spirituality. I'm coming to you from the highest point of spirituality. I never talk about religion. I stay neutral as to religion. I stay neutral as to politics. I stay neutral as to government. Anything outside, I'm coming to you from a pure perspective of spirituality, a pure perspective of love, loving yourself and loving your fellow brothers and sisters. And I always like to start off, Mike, remind all of our fellow brothers and sisters to win your morning and win your day. When you first get up this morning, start giving gratitude the very first second you start waking up. I am so happy and grateful now. Today is a magnificent day. I am so happy and grateful now. Today is a fantastic day. I am so happy and grateful now. Today is the greatest day of my life. I am so happy and grateful now to you, universal intelligence, whoever you want to reach out to. Give thanks to that entity, that the creator of all has a plan for you. That's why you're here today, that there's a plan for you. I am so happy and grateful now that I want to know what I want, that I want to see what I want. Look all day long. You're pushing around your shopping cart in the supermarket of the universe, and you're taking in data all day long. When you do that evening review and preview at the end of the day, and as I mentioned, some of my fellow brothers and sisters, your minds work better in the morning for these things. Some are in the afternoon, some in the early evening, some in the late evening. So you customize this to what fits you. But once a day, you want to have a daily review and preview to your most important experiences. And I've changed one thing a little bit. I'd refer to this historically a lot as your most important tasks, but I've been referring to it as your most important experiences. So experiences has a better vibe than tasks. Tasks can sound a little onerous. So your most important experiences. So you're setting the table when you first wake up in the morning, reminding yourself that I am so happy and grateful now that I want to see what I want. So you're looking all day long at what you want and what you want to pull into your life. When you see someone and you see, I love the confidence that that person exudes, focus on that, put that in your shopping cart, and remind yourself at the end of the day and state that to the universe. I am so happy and grateful now that I now have the confidence that I saw today in that individual. And you can build your own life. Nothing can come into your life unless you focus your intent, place your attention on it, you focus on it, you think about it, that you have a thought and you have emotions related to that. Nothing can come into your life otherwise. So be proactive. We talk about pitching rather than catching. You want to be pitching and proactively managing your life. And it starts from the very moment you wake up. We're going to talk a little bit more about setting your intentions. Again, you live in a thought world. You live in a thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe. You are an eternal spiritual being within a 3D body. You live in a perfect universe. You live in a perfect universe. You live in a thought world within a perfect and infinite universe. And I remind you all the time, every time I talk, I can remind all my fellow brothers and sisters of this. You live in a perfect and infinite universe, all operating off of perfect and infinite universal laws. You are in the game of life, and the rules of this game are these universal laws. If you want to succeed and be in control, you need to understand these universal laws. And I talk about them all the time: the law of energy, the law of perpetual transmutation, the law of abundance, the law of faith, the law of belief, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, etc., the law of allowance, the law of resonance. Understand these. Think about this, that you have true creative power within you. And I am here to shine universal light on and awaken the creative power that you have within you to manifest anything you can imagine. So thank you so much for joining us today. I remind you about my book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine. I remind you that Think and Grow Rich is a wonderful book, and I say for the last 100 years, and if you like it going forward, but this is for the next 100 years, manifest anything you can imagine. Read at least a page or a portion of my book every day, and or listen to it. It's available on Audible to listen to it in the background. When you're listening just to the television, a lot of times in the background, or maybe some type of music, be very careful if you're not canceling or rejecting what's coming into your subconscious mind. Be careful the words that are in your music. You want to cancel, reject that, put a blanket cancel rejection out once a day for any type of music you're listening to, that you don't accept any negative words or thoughts that are coming into your subconscious mind. So read or listen to at least one page every day. And you mentioned, Mike, we've had so many events, and I'm just so very grateful beyond comprehension. But one event that we had recently, as you mentioned, I was on a couple of podcasts we'll talk about, but today was a recent event I did a couple of weeks ago in Orlando, Florida. It was for an organization referred to as Orlandopreneur. So these are entrepreneurs in the state of Florida primarily, and they have a get-together once a month. They typically, Mike, I think, have 100 or 100 some people who will make reservations to attend the monthly event, and they bring a speaker in every month. They usually have 100 or 100 some reservations, and the leader of the organization, Rupert, said, Papi, says, almost like clockwork, we get 70% of the reservations, respondents to the reservation. So if they get 100 people to RSVP, say they're going to attend, 70 people typically physically show up. At the event a few weeks ago, we had 189 attendees. So not only 70%, it was over 200% attendance, so to speak, from what the reservations were, if you want to think of it along those lines. And again, putting this message out, our fellow brothers and sisters' subconscious minds are being pulled in to accepting this message. It's as if they're dying of thirst and I'm holding out a glass of water, that we need to hear positive. You need to hear, my fellow brothers and sisters, how special you are, how very, very, very special you are, how powerful you are, that you possess all knowledge and all power of all time within your subconscious mind. And that's what I'm here for, is to shine universal light on this and awaken this creative power within you. The universe says, Mikey, that approximately 2 or 3 or maybe 4% of our fellow brothers and sisters understand this and are doing it anywhere near properly, accurately, beneficially, etc. So again, less than 5% of our fellow brothers and sisters across the entire planet are operating where I'm attempting to get every one of our fellow brothers and sisters one other big win we had, Mikey, was I got introduced to a gentleman from Liberia, Africa, and his first name is Stephen, just a wonderful, wonderful individual. And I thank Clay from the bottom of my heart, Clay, for introducing Stephen to me. Once Clay found out what I did, he says, Pappy, these folks need help with their mindset more than you can imagine. So, Mikey, this will be the fourth country, if my math is working correctly, that that I'm engaging with teaching classes in Africa. Start off with Kenya, then we got into the South Sudan, then Uganda, and now Liberia. And he's looking to set up classes, Mikey. He wants me to present to students in universities throughout Liberia, to secondary schools, which would be akin to our high schools in the United States, and professional organizations. And I can't tell you how heartfelt it was, Mikey, when I was on a Zoom with Steven, and he almost leaned into the camera, and we made as good of eye contact as you can virtually. And he says, Pappy, and he's talking about, Mikey, these are folks who are in college, in universities in Liberia, who are in high school, and who have professional careers. So this would be in the upper tier of the citizens in Liberia. He leaned in and he made direct eye contact as well as we could. He says, Pappy, we have no hope. He said, we have no hope. He said, that's why I'm so excited about getting to meet you, for you to be able to help give us hope. So again, what we have here in the United States, a lot of other areas we can take for granted. We have so much to work with. And I would suggest to you, and all I offer is suggestions to be inspired by our fellow brothers and sisters who have a lot less, so to speak, if you take a look at it, and their mindset and what they're willing to do, and say, hey, Pappy, I've barely got enough food, clothing, and shelter, but I really want access to manifesting through mindset, to improve my mindset, manifesting the law of attraction, tapping into this unlimited creative power within me. One last comment, Mikey, was, and it was really the genesis. This all happened very quickly, but the genesis of was there was a gentleman who came up on stage. And again, the line, when I was giving away the books, the line was about an hour and 15 minutes that people waited after the presentation to come up and have me sign a book, give them a book and sign it. And they all wanted to talk for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. That's why it took a while, which was wonderful. And everybody stayed in line for the whole time. But one gentleman came up and says, Pappy, he said, I'll write you a check for $10,000 right now. I love what you're doing. I'll give you $10,000 to send out books and education materials to teach what you teach anywhere across the globe, through Africa, South America, the Pacific Rim, etc. He said, but I can't write you the check to DiNuzzo Private Wealth. You're a for-profit company. You need to figure this out. And he said it in a very nice way. And he says, on top of that, Pappy, just as a reminder, my buddy also attended this evening. He thinks the same way as I do. He has a very strong charitable philanthropic intent. He'll write you a check as well for $10,000, but you got to figure it out. So I got on the case right away. And in the last couple of weeks, actually, it happened like a flurry over about a 1 week period of time. I got introduced through another wonderful woman who was at that presentation. Her name is Samia. She's just a wonderful divine being. I've been so blessed to meet these people, Mikey. She introduced me to a gentleman, Adam, who specialized in setting up nonprofits, 501c3s. So we have the Papi DiNuzzo Global Manifestation and Mindset Charity. So now we have a charity set up for anyone who would like to make a contribution. It will go in, and just for right now, let's just say we have unlimited demand from our fellow brothers and sisters. Pappy, send me as many books as you can. Again, just the school that I'm working with, the Freehold School in Nakuru, Kenya, Madam Pamela, who's the guidance counselor and one of the senior teachers there, say, Pappy, I've got 1,100 students here. They'd all love to have a book. So you just multiply that all across where we're at. Again, just in Africa, Kenya, the South Sudan, Uganda, and now into Liberia, with universities, high schools, which they call secondary schools, and professionals. So it's been a lot of activity, Mikey, since we did the last show. And I'm just so excited to share this with our fellow brothers and sisters. So thank you so much for letting me get everybody caught up at least a little bit.
Pappy, that is awesome news. I had no idea. Congratulations on that, the nonprofit setup, the charity. That's going to help you reach so many more people. That's awesome. And I just think it's great too about your in Orlando. I loved how like so many people showed up that didn't RSVP. And then to have like 5,000 subscribers in such a short time of 90 days, like that's just proof that like people need to hear the message that you're sending out. So I just think that's all great news.
They need positive in their life, Mikey. That's for sure. And it's speaking directly to their subconscious mind. So it's just a beautiful thing to see, and I'm so grateful and thankful to everyone who's helping, all the ambassadors that we have working with us and helping us on this mission.
Absolutely, and that's just like when you say that someone wakes up without hope, I mean, that's your whole goal is to bring hope and inspiration to people. So to be able to do that is just and to do it all around the world, that's just amazing. And, I think you said there's like 189 people at the Orlando
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, but, I couldn't be there, I would have been 190, but what I was able to do is go to your TikTok and go to your Instagram and see exactly what you're talking about. So if you haven't already done that, please do it because you can see the smiles on these people's faces when they were talking to you. You're giving out books, you're signing books for them. And it's just so great to feel that positive vibe coming through your phone, just or your feed or whatever, your Facebook. So
Yeah.
please do that. Please go over and check that out because it's just really awesome to see the success that Pappy is having everywhere. So speaking of success, that's what Pappy wants for all of us. And with so much negativity around some of us, we just want to remind you that repetition is your key to manifesting. And Pappy wants to provide us with a weekly email with 2 concepts to live by to everyone on our mailing list. And he's going to share some of those concepts to live by with us. Pappy?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, the repetition. And again, Mikey, how well it's been received on a couple of the top three social media avenues for us so far have been YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And there's a couple of videos I have on there that have reached over 100,000 views. A couple of other ones who are up into tens and tens of thousands. There's one we just released that is at 35,000 approximately within the first 3 weeks. And the one has started to take off also, Mikey. There's one when I talk about your want on the presentation I gave in Orlando, and that one is starting to get an awful lot of traction. We just released that the other day. So I thank Andrew. Andrew handles all of our social media as far as posting. He's an expert at that. He's on our team as well. So I'm very thankful and very grateful for Andrew and the wonderful work that he does in assisting us in getting the message out. So yeah, the weekly concepts to live by, Mikey, these are, again, we're just trying to think about positive things as much as we can, being careful, my fellow brothers and sisters, that you're never leaving your mind wide open. A lot of times you leave your mind wide open where your conscious mind is turned off. And again, that's your protector, your protection or your shield protecting your subconscious mind. When you're eating dinner or having any meal, you're typically wide open. When you are not setting, when you're not setting proactive intentions as to what you want your next experience to be like. So a lot of our fellow brothers and sisters, Mike, you're not setting an intention and they're just sitting down, there's nothing else to do, and they turn the TV on. If you don't set an intention, you're wide open, your guards down, whatever's coming at you, that information, it could be from the television, from if you have social media playing, it could be music, whatever it is, but especially let's say television, that's coming right into your subconscious mind. Be extraordinarily careful. You want to protect your subconscious mind at all costs. We start with the two recent concepts to live by we sent out, Mikey, which are related. One is universal intelligence. And that's what I opened with Mikey when I said earlier, anytime that I say universal intelligence, universal subconscious mind, universal light, source power, source energy, that's all basically referring to the same thing, to the very top of that pyramid, to the highest point of spirituality. And in universal intelligence is what all of us have inside of us. If we think of those words all being synonymous, Mike, and let's think of source energy, it's synonymous with that. So source energy is at the very highest level, the creator of all. All of our fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, within the sound of my voice, you all, everyone who's on this call and is listening to the show right now, you are an extension of source energy. You have a perfect spirit inside of you. You have perfect spiritual DNA, and you have a perfect spiritual spark. And your spiritual DNA is exactly the same as source energies. That's why you're an extension of source energy. So I started telling our fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, you think you're having a bad day. I'm telling you, you are an eternal spiritual being with no end to your life. You are endless. You've been here forever. You're going to be here forever. And one of the biggest moments, aha moments, Mikey, or I think watershed moments that can change a person's life. And when they internalize and understand that everyone, again, within the sound of my voice, you are not a human being. You're not a human being. You are a being But if you think of the word human, if you wrote that out and just put an X through it and write divine, you are a divine being. You are an eternal spiritual being with a perfect spirit, perfect spiritual DNA, perfect spiritual spark, possessing all knowledge and all power of all time within you. You've been given creative power and free will to make any decision you can. Mikey, that's about a half a dozen of the greatest pep talk items I could ever imagine. Perfection, all power, all knowledge, which you've been granted, the power you've been gifted. You are perfect inside. And anytime I'm speaking to any audience, Mikey, especially for any, even the high school students, the secondary school students that could be from Africa or somewhere, and when I mention to them that all of our spiritual DNA is exactly the same, my spiritual DNA is exactly the same as yours the same as mine, you just see them, they almost light up like a light bulb when they start getting how powerful they are with perfect spirit DNA, spark, all power and all knowledge of all time. You can just see that light bulb starting to come on. So universal intelligence, I stay as neutral as possible, as high as possible, always coming from a pure perspective of spirituality. And then one of the other recent concepts to live by, Mikey, we sent out the next one you have listed, universal intelligence, original thinking substance. This is a little bit of a mouthful, but I try to describe as well as possible in my book. You'll see this word used an awful lot in Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, or universal intelligence, original thinking substance. And sometimes I'll put formless in there. Well, so universal intelligence, original formless thinking substance. If the best way I can explain this, Mikey, to our fellow brothers and sisters, is that everything starts with a thought, and each of our fellow brothers and sisters has manifested everything in their life, both good and bad. So do you want to be pitching and be proactively in control of your life, what you're focusing on, what you're placing your attention on, what you're placing your thoughts on, your emotions, and pull that into that life? If you can just think of yourself as an image, just think of your, however much you weigh, whatever your weight is and your height is, think of yourself as that tall of a magnet that weighs that much. And you are a magnet that draws into your life what you focus on, what you place your attention in, what you place your emotions on. You are a magnet that draws in health, wealth, happiness, and love. It cannot come into your life unless you draw it in. It cannot come in by universal law unless you draw it in. And without getting too technical, this is the mechanism between you and me, Mikey, right now is the entire universe. And you're just in the other room here. You're not far away. The entire universe, all of the molecules, atoms, protons, electrons. I'm no expert at science, but these are all thinking entities. The trillions of cells that are in each of your bodies, all my fellow brothers and sisters, are thinking entities. As a rule, under universal law, your body must listen to your mind. It must listen. So when you hear on the news, well, the seasonal flu's coming around again, and get prepared to get the flu because it's coming around. You don't have to get the flu unless you want to get the flu. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm not going to get the flu this year. I'm so happy and grateful now that that does not affect me. I'm so happy and grateful now that I don't get the flu, and I'm never going to get the flu. You just start making up your affirmations. Unless you allow that in, it cannot come into your body. So you use all this universal power. It's an absolute unbelievable world, even in between us right now. Mikey, myself, just being a dozen or a couple dozen feet away, there's an entire universe of power, of universal, intelligent, original, formless thinking substance. And all energy has been created eons and eons and eons ago. Energy can't be created. It can't be destroyed. It's already been created and it's here. And one of the main reasons you came to Earth was for you to harness this energy, to influence this energy, and to direct it. And you think of, when you have a thought, think of a cowboy movie in the United States here. We have cowboys and cowboy movies. And think of a cowboy with a lasso, like having the lasso, and you throw that up into the universe, up straight out here, up to the fifth dimension or above. You are using your thoughts, and you have lassoed a bundle of energy. You've harnessed that energy. So now you've used your thought to harness that energy. And what are you going to do with it? If you apply that to an affirmation, an intention, or a prayer, and you think of that, bam, there's a firework that goes off in the fifth dimension or above, And when the smoke and the flames, whatever, from that firework, the sparkles settle, you'll see the outline of what it is that you were thinking about. You want a new purse, you want a new cell phone, a new car, a new partner, a new job, a promotion, whatever it is, you'll see an outline of it. If you apply emotion to that when you think that thought or offer that prayer, that intention, whatever it is, if you apply emotion to that and high emotion of that of your inner child, you'll see dozens of fireworks going off, dozens. And when all that dust and smoke settles, you'll see that image a lot stronger, a lot larger, a lot more well developed. So it all starts with our thoughts. You are harnessing and directing and influencing this energy that's all around you. And again, I quote Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein over and over. Nikola Tesla, who I think is arguably in a tie, I don't know anyone who is more intelligent, so to speak, a human being that walked this earth for the last 200 years. He was asked, Mr. Tesla, Mr. Nikola Tesla, can you give me an understanding and secrets to the world we live in and the universe we live in? And he said, if you want to understand the secrets of this world and the universe, understand energy, understand vibrations, and understand frequency. It's the same thing, Mikey, that I'm talking and teaching our fellow brothers and sisters over and over. Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, the list goes on and on and on. So harness, direct, and influence this universal intelligence, original formless thinking substance, this energy that's all around you, and direct it to your desire, and you can manifest anything you can imagine. Manifesting success, as long as you never stop believing, is never a question of if, never a question of if. It's only a question of when. It will be delivered unto you.
Well, that's a great way to explain such big concepts too. And it goes back to knowing what you want. And I was actually able to watch that TikTok that you said this morning about what you're wanting. And you really do have to know what you want before the universal intelligence and before the universe can help you, because that's where it starts. And like you said, if you believe in it, it can happen. If you can hold it in your hand, you can make it happen. So, I think that's just so great as far as manifesting. And also, manifesting, it does take practice. And Pappy, you're a great coach at helping us shift our mindset into something more positive. And I know that you have a manifest coaching tip for us today to manifest the law of attraction. Would you like to share that one with us?
Yes, and as you said, Mike, if you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, and it all starts with your want. And the universe, with our brothers and sisters, don't be bashful. You possess these superpowers. You must be confident and let the universe know what you want. And again, it's what I refer to, Mikey, is I see once our fellow brothers and sisters get started on this pathway, sometimes they'll either overthink it, Mikey, or whatever else it may be. And I say, we want to relieve any stress, any pressure. It's just simply what I am here to teach you is the creating in your life a manifesting lifestyle, a manifesting lifestyle. And I use the same analogy all the time, Mikey. If we take a look at any of our fellow brothers and sisters, and let's say they were having a challenge with their weight before. And again, if we can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. You could be any weight that you want to be, controlling this with your mind. And when you talk to our fellow brothers and sisters who have success with their weight and they're at the weight that they want to be maintaining, et cetera, which let's say is a lot less than it used to be, it's the same thing over and over again, Mikey. They're just in a lifestyle. It's not a diet or a fad diet. They have found a sweet spot in a lifestyle that works, that's pragmatic, that's practical, that they are on every day and maintaining their ideal weight. So it's the same thing with manifesting, a manifesting lifestyle. You don't put pressure on yourself. It's not, I have to do something, or it's amazing. Something people, I had a couple within last week, they're like, Pappy, do I have to do this on the weekend as well? Do you want to be deliriously happy and have anything that you want in your life, health, wealth, happiness, and love? I would think so. Yeah, it is all day. And again, once you get your manifesting lifestyle down, I can guarantee you will be putting less time into this than the fear and worry and doubt and spinning your wheels and pulling bad things into your life that you don't want in a million years. You'll be spending less time, significantly less time, when you are proactively in control of your day, from the time you wake up in the morning until the time you go to sleep at night, right before you fall asleep. You're offering your final intentions. You're telling the universe, these are my intentions of what I want. you offer your final one or two intentions, and then you always ask the universe right before you go to sleep, your most important question that you have. Can you please deliver me the answer, the solution, put me in the direction of success, however you want to phrase it, your most important question. So, Mikey, this all started with the experience intentions that we were talking about. I talked about this on the last show, but I want to reiterate some of this because it's just so important, Mikey, that the universe says, Pappy, within as short of a period of time as 30, 60, 90 days, if our fellow brothers and sisters are able to do this every day to set their, what I've named experience intentions. So from when we wake up, we start setting our intentions. We wake up in the morning, we do those early morning affirmations, those ones as soon as we're waking up, coming through twilight, and we're putting out positive energy right off the bat. I set my intention. I want to have a positive interaction with you, universal intelligence, this morning and get off to the greatest start. And I recommend doing some physical activity. Mikey, it could be a very gentle and light stretching. This is not that you have to get on a treadmill and run for half an hour, but when you first get up, have some physical movement. And as you're doing this, and you can reach out to the universe even while you're in bed, or if some of our fellow brothers and sisters even like to offer a prayer in the morning, setting their intentions and or giving gratitude. I do both, setting the intentions and gratitude. Gratitude, the universe loves all day long. It's just gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. That's why I place at the end of anything I do, it says like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, where it's the peanut butter, and that's what you spread across the entire sandwich from the first time you wake up, first moment you wake up until the end of the day. So you wake up and set these intentions for what do you want for today. I'm setting my intention. I want to have the greatest waking up ritual. I want to have a great stretch. And one thing I do, Mikey, I've got like a full stretching thing that I do. And I'll tell the universe that, I mean, I do a pretty good bit of stretching, but I'll say, I want to have the benefit of a full, there's a professional gentleman who taught me how to do all this stretching, and I use his name. I want to have the benefit of a full, and I'll use his name, stretching routine in the time that I do it this morning. So maybe I'm allocating 15 minutes, that if I did a full blown stretching with him, it may be 45 minutes, but I put that out. That's my want. That's my intention to the universe, that I want the benefit of that. Then even small things, Mikey, our fellow brothers and sisters, don't forget, there's nothing too small. You say, I want to have the best hygiene experience this morning, and depend on if you bathe or shower or shave, whatever else it is, the night before, the morning, whatever it is that morning, you need to be brushing your teeth, getting ready, preparing yourself to engage with your fellow brothers and sisters. I want to have the best hygiene experience, and I want to hold myself out so well to my fellow brothers and sisters that they feel positive energy from the first time that I meet them. And I'm delivering my impression of increase because of the great hygiene and the process I'm going through. Then even if you're just making a cup of coffee, Mikey, with some vitamins, you can say, even while you're still laying in bed, and I set my intention for my nutrition this morning, that I have the greatest breakfast. Like I said, it could just be eating a banana for breakfast, whatever it is, that I have the greatest nutritional experience, that I take in all the nourishment, that it nourishes me to have the greatest day of my life. And you can just set this, Mikey, for waking up, for stretching, for hygiene, for your breakfast. And then, of course, what's your next experience? And you get up and let's say you leave the house and you go to work. You're driving a car, you're getting on a train, a bus, whatever else it is, a carpool, and you offer for that experience. I am offering my intention. I'm setting my intention for what I want. I want to have a safe trip. I want to have a safe drive to work and coming home later on. I want a safe drive this morning. I want to arrive safely. And I want all my fellow brothers and sisters around me to arrive safely as well. I want to, from the moment I step into my workplace, be putting off a positive energy and engage positively. The initial meeting that I have with every one of my team members, I want it to be a very positive initial engagement. So you just set these sort of mini experiences, Mikey, and you do this throughout your day. It doesn't take that long. What I just said there takes, a minute or two in the morning. You do this before an important meeting, before an important phone call, even before you're sending out an important text message. Set the intention. What do you want to occur? What do you want out of this email that you're sending one of your fellow brothers and sisters, on the phone call, in the Zoom, the virtual meeting, face-to-face meeting? Do this throughout your day. And the universe says, Mikey, in as short as 30, 60, 90 days, you can elevate yourself to a higher level than you could have ever imagined. But it's all up to you. You possess all knowledge and all power of all time. You have the ability to do this. So setting these experience intentions, and these are intentions for what you want. You'll be hearing me talk about this over and over again. Because I talk about the real big goal, Mikey, the faith 10x goal. That's our real big when we're writing our affirmations for 333, 3 times in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. We want to focus, and that's what I teach on one really big goal, not a no goal, KNOW, or a think goal, the really big goal, the faith goal, the 10x goal. But these are for our many experiences. That's our grand experience we want. These are for the ones that are throughout our day. And this will make your day go so phenomenally well. And you'll start to have success in a very short period of time that you could have only dreamed about before, things that you've never seen in your life before. If you want to remind me for next show, Mikey, I just got a great testimonial in from a woman yesterday who I've only had a couple of Zoom meetings with, but remind me next show, I want to share that because I taught her exactly the same thing and just share with our audience the experience that she's had. And her first name is Carla, Mikey. If you want to remind me for next show, I'll share that with the audience.
All right, that gives us something to look forward to for next time. So I'll make sure I write that down. But it comes back to just knowing your want is, what you were talking about in that TikTok that we talked about earlier. It's about putting a positive intention out there and then putting a positive affirmation behind it. And when you do that, it's like speaking as it's already happened or it's happening in the present. And that's what I love about your affirmations is that your affirmations are all in the present. And they all start out with, I am so happy and grateful now. And I know that you have a great one for us today.
Yeah, Mikey, what you just hit the nail on the head. There's so many things that are in a tie for number one as far as how important they are. And everything that you proactively pitching, acquire in life starts with what you want. It also starts with what you don't want. What you really, really, really want, you're going to get. And because you apply a lot, you're thinking about it, you're applying a lot of emotion to it, you're going to get it. Also, what you really, really, really don't want, you're thinking about, you're applying a lot of emotion, so you're going to get that as well. So we said, Mikey, I showed the diagram that it starts with our imagination up above our head, and it starts with a want. And that want is the genesis. The genesis is the beginning of your goal. Your want in your conscious mind, if you want it, you focus on it, place your attention on it, apply emotions. It goes down into the rich treasury of your subconscious mind. It becomes a desire. You continue to focus on it, and it flows down into and through you. And there are vibrations that come out of your subconscious mind and out of your body. So that desire is what turns into your goal. They're all pretty much synonymous. It's like 3 evolutions of one thing, but your want into your desire into your goal. Your want is your goal. That's the genesis. That's a seed that you're planting that is for the goal of what you want more than anything else on earth for your big faith 10x goal. So the affirmation we have for today, Mikey, we always write out, I am, we do M with a capital A, capital M, so happy and grateful now that, and then you fill in whatever you want. What I said earlier, when you could be struggling, Mikey, we're talking about wants that's crept into a lot of the material for today. And a lot of those people are like, what I said in that video, the one you watch, Mikey, our fellow brothers and sisters, the majority of the time say, Papi, I don't know what I want. So you just have a simple affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that, and what's the common sense completion of this affirmation? I am so happy and grateful now that I want to know what I want. Just tell the universe, I want to know what I want. Start doing that affirmation. It's going to start coming at you. I am so happy and grateful now. And this is one of the ones I do. When I very first start waking up in the morning, I am so happy and grateful now that I want to see what I want. Show me what I want to see. We're gathering data. We're in a data gathering mission. We're here to further express, expand, increase, and grow. That's why we're here on earth, is to grow, further express, expand, increase, and grow. That's what we're here for. And you gather this data, you bring it in, and let the universe know what you want. Now, in the affirmation for today, I am so happy and grateful now that I never sit in judgment of a fellow brother and sister of mine. I've never sit in judgment of any other person. This one, Mikey, we have so many of our fellow brothers and sisters, and they could be doing good. They're doing a lot of these things that I'm talking about well, but on the allowance, they're in conflict with one of the most key primary universal laws. That's a law of allowance. You must allow what your want is, what your desire is, what your goal is, what your intentions are, your prayers, your affirmations. You must allow this into your life, and you must allow it seamlessly, so to speak. And it's not just what's coming into your life, but what you see coming into your fellow brothers and sisters' life. You will negatively affect your goal and your intentions, prayers, affirmation being filled coming into your life. if you are placing judgment on your fellow brothers and sisters, how'd he get that? I bet he cheats. What's she thinking about? All these fill in the blanks. You can imagine what you hear fellow brothers and sisters say about other fellow brothers and sisters. You do not sit in judgment of any other human being. You allow them to behave. They all have free will. They all have free will. They all have creative power within them. They are manifesting into their life what they want to manifest into their life. They're drawing everything into their life that is in their life. So you don't pass judgment ever on a fellow brother or sister of yours. You focus on yourself, on allowing. You allow it to come into your life. You allow that to come into their life. But entirely too many of our fellow brothers and sisters, Mike, you're doing, even ones that start to do a good job on proactively manifesting, are making way too many judgments about our fellow brothers and sisters. And these judgments, to be polite, are not flattering. They're not flattering. And there's a lot of negative energy that's going out. And that is going to greatly impede you receiving what you want to receive, your goal. So you allow it to come to you. You accept it. I have one of my top ingredients is acceptance, allowance, acceptance, and expecting. These are all one in the same ball, so to speak, Mikey. So you allow it, you expect it, you accept it to come into your life, and also other fellow brothers and sisters of yours. You're not in charge of them. They've got a direct relation with universal subconscious mind that's going on. They're going through their learning curve, everything else it is, but you focus on yourself and it will come to you. But if you are having a challenge and how you feel about your fellow brothers and sisters, putting negatives out, negative energy, you're going to greatly impede you getting what you want. So never sit in judgment of a fellow brother and sister of yours. Never, ever.
Well, that's a great affirmation as well. Great advice too. What you put out to the universe is going to come back at you. So why not put more positive thoughts out there?
Yeah.
And you answered a lot of questions today, but some of our listeners have more questions for you. And so we've gotten to the point where we get to ask Papi some manifest questions. So if you have a question for Papi, you can go to our website and submit your question by clicking on the link at the top. And one of the questions that we have today, Papi, is how does manifesting differ from wishful thinking?
Yeah, Mikey, manifesting different from wishful thinking. The biggest thing is the most stark contrast there would be, and again, I have 2 chapters devoted to it in my book, but would be taking action. And I refer to it as efficient action. There's a few key words that I link with the word action an awful lot. Efficient action, inspired action, that's action with emotion, inspired action, and joyful action. Whatever we attract to us, Mikey, we can be doing great affirmations, intentions, prayers, etc., and doing a good job with that. But just think about, you are attracting back to you from your point of reference, or your emotional point of reference. You want to be at as high of emotion as you can when you're sending out your affirmations, your intentions, your prayers out to the universe. So you want to be at as high a level possible. So action, inspired action, joyful action. You can't just think these thoughts in your head and not take action. Everything on earth, as you probably heard me say before, everything on earth is created twice. Once in my mind, your mind, or one of our 8 billion plus fellow brothers and sisters' mind, and then is created twice. That's the first part. The second part is, and then the physical object back of it is completed. And that takes action. The better you get at this, you can get to the point where your front end with your thoughts and your intentions, your emotions, etc., are creating 60, 70, 80, 90% of your goal of what you want to manifest. And you won't have to do as much inspired, joyful action to complete it. But it is much more than just wishful thinking. That's just daydreaming. You will never proactively manifest anything you can imagine by just wishful thinking. You have to couple that with action on the back part of it. The next one we have, Mike, in this one, I think I answered pretty thoroughly earlier. I'll just touch on it real quick then. How can I start manifesting effectively in my daily life? And I would just go, Mikey, I'm very literal. So when I read a question, how can I start manifesting effectively immediately in my daily life? Effectively in my daily life, when does that start? That starts again, what I was talking about earlier, that very first moment you wake up. The very first moment you wake up, for you to be successful, when you look at the end of the year, when you look at the last 365 days, and if you take a look and if you won 300 of those days and lost 65, you are going to be phenomenally successful. This is all about winning your day. And there's a direct correlation, an absolute direct correlation to winning your morning and then ultimately winning your day. So it's all about the great start that you get off to. So I talked about this great start and how to do it earlier. So how do you start manifesting effectively in your daily life? You start at very beginning, affirmations, intentions, prayers, gratitude, 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 even these small intentions to start your day. You've already gone to sleep right before you went to sleep and you set one or two intentions on what you want. And then you ask the universe that most important question. You wake up, you're into a new experience now. You're waking up, you're starting a new day, and you set these intentions that can seem rather small, but they're not small. If you're getting off to a great start, those 3 or 4 smaller ones you can consider that I started off with. You start off with those intentions for the experiences that you want, what you want to experience, and then you'll just roll through your day. And within 30, 60, 90 days, Mikey, if you do this every day, you'll start to notice that what you're consistently setting your intentions for the experience that you want, you will not be encountering hardly any, if in fact none, of the former challenges that you had regarding that activity and that experience. So you can control this. It's all within the creative power within you. Win your morning, win your day.
Those are great answers to some great questions. And talk about winning your day. A great way to win your day in the morning is to start out by reading or listening to your book, Manifest Anything That You Can Imagine. And I know you held your book up at the beginning of the show. It had all the yellow Post-its sticking out of it. Kind of looks like mine. Like I put Post-its at the beginning of each chapter so that when I open it up, I could just open it up to the first page of each chapter, which has a quote. And that's a great way to start your day. A great way to win your day is by reading a quote that you have in your book. And what quote would you like to share with us today?
Yeah, Mikey, and it's so important. Thank you again for the reminder. But reading my book, I recommend reading at least a page or more every day. For some of our fellow brothers and sisters, a lot easier listening to it, so you can get it on Audible and listen. I've listened to it, Mikey, thousands of times myself. So I never recommend doing anything that I don't do myself. I play it all the time in the background. One of the things I forgot to mention earlier, Mikey, was I'm launching an opportunity project, however you want to phrase it, with Katie Kremitzos. She has the Women's Meditation Network. I would suggest any women, especially any of our fellow sisters on this call today at the show, go and take a look at her Women's Meditation Network. She has the largest meditation network in the United States devoted solely, strictly to women and what women are interested in and meditating on to improve their life. She does a phenomenal job. I love seeing this. I mean, she's a self-made woman, a self-made entrepreneur, started her own company out of recording her initial recordings for a number of years out of her closet in her bedroom where her clothes are hanging. That was her studio. And what she's done and how many countless thousands of our fellow sisters that she's helped, Mikey. So she had reached out to me. I've got to meet Katie. She's just such a wonderful person. And she says, Papi, what I'd like you to do is work with me and let's do some recordings in your voice. And let's think of like a soft meditative walk. I came up with like a soft meditative walk and talk. So I'll be sharing it with the audience, Mikey. We're looking at maybe like a 3-part series that she's going to do on one of her channels. Now this will be solely in the it's not going to be a meditation, but it's going to be a soft meditative walk and talk as if we're walking along the beach. Literally, that's when I come up with Mikey. We're walking in the sand, one-on-one along the beach, and we're having this conversation. And it's just very soft, very meditative, very engaging. A lot of great points of inflection on the topics that I'm bringing. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited about that as well because Katie's a genius at what she does. And for her to reach out to me and extend that offer to me to have a special series on one of her channels that I think she just passed a million listens, I guess, Mikey, how you would phrase it, a couple of years ago even. She's just done so well. So I'm so grateful for that. The focus today, the last part for me today, Mikey, is the quote. And you picked another great quote as always. This is from chapter 1 in the paperback book, chapter 1. It's on page 2 right at the beginning. And this is one of my quotes. I say, I ask of you to listen to me and follow me until you find one of two things not to be true. I do not know what I'm talking about, or I am lying. You will not encounter or experience either option. It does not matter at this time if you believe in yourself 100% or even close to it. All that matters is for you to know in your heart of hearts that I believe in you 100%. I just want to get you to the point that you believe 1%. That's all I need. You've heard me say, just give me one little sliver of daylight. I'm your ride or die. I'm not going anywhere. I am here to shine universal light on you and awaken the creative power that resides within you for you to manifest anything you can imagine. So again, you won't find any contradictory facts looking out into the universe or anywhere. You'll find if you research the details that I'm giving you regarding universal laws, that you're in a game of life and that these are the rules of the game, you will confirm them to be true over and over and over again. So this is a journey that we're going through together. If you are listening to this right now, there are no coincidences in the universe. That was meant to be. You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. Really drill into what is this purpose. This is all about the law of cause and effect as well. The effect of this is the coincidence, but go further back upstream. Why are you here? You're being sent a message. You're being led to a better area. You're being led to an area where you can further express, expand, increase, and grow into the best version of yourself and live your best life beyond right now. From this is a reference point, beyond your wildest expectations or imagination is a life you can live regarding health, wealth, happiness, and love. So thank you so much. Namaste. It's such a great show today. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Suzanne. Just a wonderful, wonderful show. Thank you to everyone in our audience. Thank you.
Awesome. What a great way to close the show with such a positive quote. You have to believe in yourself, and Papi believes in us 100%. And you definitely left us with so many things to look forward to. So definitely to be continued, that's for sure. So thank you very much. And if you're new to Papi Mindset Coach, be sure that you're signed up on papimindsetcoach.com to receive Papi's free educational emails and get access to upcoming live events conducted by Papi to help you manifest the health, wealth, and happiness of your dreams. And just one more reminder to like, subscribe, and share Papi Mindset Coach social media links. Thank you very much.
That's a wrap for this episode of Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast. Keep those dreams big and your mindset unstoppable. Take one step today toward the life you're manifesting because you can create anything you imagine. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Visit papimindsetcoach.com for more resources and follow us at Papi Mindset Coach on social platforms for daily inspiration. If you love this episode, share it with someone ready to transform their life. Until next time, stay focused, stay positive, and keep on manifesting your best life. See you soon.